Come here. Alright. Today is February 9th, 2003. Come here, Gracie. Sit over. And I'm going to read to my daughter, did I ever tell you how lucky you are? Sit down. Come here. Okay. So, what we'll do is we'll get all comfy here. And then, did I ever tell you how lucky you are? By Dr. Seuss. Okay? One thing that Grace and I, we love reading books together. This is our book reading time. Did I ever tell you how lucky you are? By Dr. Seuss. When I was quite young and quite small for my size, I met an old man in the desert of drives, and he sang me a song I will never forget. At least, well, I haven't forgotten it yet. He sat in a terribly prickly place, but he sang with a sunny, sweet smile on his face. When you think things are bad, when you feel sour and blue, when you start to get mad, you should do what I do. Just tell yourself, ducky, you're really quite lucky. Some people are much more, oh, ever so much more, oh, much, much, much more unlucky than you. Well, if I was sitting on a cactus, I'd think I was unlucky too, wouldn't you? Be glad you don't work on the Bulgarin Bridge that they are building across Boobera Bay and Bum Ridge. It's a troublesome world. All the people who are in it are troubled with troubles almost every minute. You ought to be thankful, a whole heaping lot, for the places and people you're lucky you're not. I don't think you want to live there, would you?
What?
Look at that bridge. You want to live on that bridge? Okay. Gracie, sit down. Sit still. What's wrong? Just suppose, for example, you live in Gazette and got caught in that traffic on Zate Highway 8. Look at all the traffic. It's like being in New York City. Or suppose, just for an instant, you live in Gazere, with your bedroom up here and your bathroom up there. So there's your bedroom, and there's your bathroom. Oh, that'd be terrible, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Alright. Just suppose you were poor Herbie Hart, who has taken his Thromdinball apart. He never will get together, I'm sure. He never will know if the gick or the gore fits into the skrunks or the snucks or the snore. Yes, ducky, you're lucky you're not Herbie Hart, who has taken his Thromdinball apart. I guess that's some kind of music making machine. He took it apart. I wouldn't know how to put it back together either, would you?
No.
No, okay. Think they work you too hard? Think of poor Ali Sard. He has to mow grass in his uncle's backyard. And it's quick growing grass, and it grows as he mows. The faster he mows it, the faster he grows it. And all that his stingy uncle will pay for his shoving that mower around in that hay is pivious pay of 2 ducalas a day. And Ali can't live on such piviless pay. So every time he mows it, it grows back. So he has to paint flagpoles on Sundays and grooves. How lucky you are you don't live in his shoes.
Ew.
Look how high up they are.
So sweet.
And poor Mr. Bix, every morning at 6, poor Mr. Bix has his boyfriend to fix. It doesn't seem fair, it just doesn't seem right, but his boyfriend just seems to go schlump every night. It schlumps it's in a heap, sadly needing repair. Big fixes it due to the local night air. It takes him all day to unschlump it, and then the night air comes back and it schlumps once again. So don't you feel blue, don't get down in the dumps. You're lucky you don't have a boyfriend that schlumps. And while we are at it, consider the schlots. The crumple-horned, web-footed, green-haired schlots, whose tail is entailed with unsolvable knots. If he isn't muchly more worse off than you, I'll eat my umbrella. That's just what I'll do. It's got such a long tail, it gets in knots, doesn't it? And you're lucky, indeed, you don't ride on a camel. To ride on a camel, you sit on a whammel. A whammel, you know, is a sort of a saddle, held on by a button that's known as a faddle. And boy, if your old wamfaddle gets loose, I'm telling you, ducky, you're not going to like goose. So look, they gotta walk across that. What happens if that comes undone? Like that one's coming undone right there. It's gonna fall. And poor Mr. Potter, T-crosser, I-dotter. He has to cross T's and he has to dot I's. In an I&T factory out in Van Nuys. So he's gotta cross all the T's and he's gotta dot all the I's. It's kinda funny, isn't it? How about you and I cross T's and dot I's?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, the jobs people work at out west near Hawatch. Here's a Hawatch bee watcher. His job is to watch, is to keep both his eyes on the lazy town bee. A bee that is watched will work harder, you see. Well, he watched and he watched, but in spite of his watch, that bee didn't work any harder, not much. So then somebody said, our old bee watching man just isn't bee watching as hard as he can. He ought to be watched by another hot watcher. The things we need is a bee watcher. Well, so they want somebody to watch the bee watcher. Well, the bee watcher watched the bee watcher. He didn't watch well, so another hot watch had to come in as a watcher. And today, all the hot watchers who live in hot watch are watching on watch on watch. Watching the watcher who's watching that bee. You're not a hot watcher. You're lucky, you see. So he's watching the bee. He's watching him watch the bee. So he's a hot watcher. Then you got this watcher watching the watcher that's watching the bee. Then you got this watcher watching the watcher watching the watcher watching the bee. Then you got this watcher watching the watcher who's watching that watch that watcher who's watching the bee. And it goes all the way back.
Like that watcher,
Yep.
that watcher, that one.
Yep. Okay.
The bee.
Okay. And how fortunate you're not Professor DeBreeze, who has spent the past 32 years, if you please, trying to teach Irish ducks how to read Jivasees. Yeesh. Okay. And think of poor puffing Pugelhorn players who have to parade down the Pugelhorn stairs every morning to wake up the Prince of Puboken. It's awful how often those Pugels get broken. Wow, I wouldn't want to go down one of those things.
No.
Going all the way over to the castle.
Yeah.
What's this? And oh, just suppose your poor Harry Haddo. Try as he will, he can't make any shadow. He thinks that perhaps something's wrong with his jizz, and thinks that by golly there probably is. See, Candy doesn't have a shadow.
Why?
I don't know. He doesn't know
Because
either.
he's standing in the sun.
Yep. And the brothers Bazoo, the poor brothers Bazoo, suppose your hair grew like theirs had to do. You think you're unlucky? I'm telling you, Ducky, some people are muchly, oh, ever so muchly more, much more unlucky than you.
Why are they stuck together?
Because that's how their hair grows. Kind of funny, huh? And suppose that you lived in the forest in France, where the average young person just hasn't a chance to escape from the perilous, pants-eating plants. But your pants are safe, you're a fortunate guy, and you ought to be shouting, how lucky am I? He just ate his pants. Silly. And speaking of plants, you should be greatly gladdish. You're not Farmer Falconbird's 17 radish. Look how small it is, but look how big that one is.
What?
The radishes. There's 17 of them. Okay. There. And you're so lucky you're not Gucky Gown, who lives by himself 90 miles out of town, in the ruins of Ronk. Ronk is rather run down.
Where is...
He's right there.
Oh.
And you're so lucky you're not left a sock, left behind by mistake. It's in the caverns of Croc. There's a sock just left behind. Thank goodness for all of the things you are not. Thank goodness you're not something someone forgot and left all alone in some punkish place, like a rusty tin coat hanger hanging in place. That's why I say, Ducky, don't grumble, don't stew. Some critters are much, oh, ever so much, so much more unlucky than you. be. And
Oh, you missed a page.
no, I didn't. It's blank. See? Alright.
Okay.
Hold on. Yep, I'll read that one. Let me. Hold on. A second.
Jesus loves.
Alright.